right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to use these Canva templates that I've created for your Facebook cover photo that are specifically designed for businesses that serve a local area. Now, there is obviously a lot of variation that can be done here. So I'm going to show you some examples, and you get all of these templates when you download the template in the $7 program. But I'm going to walk through them and just kind of show how this template can be used in different ways. Now, the first thing to remember, just like in my other video where I showed you how to create a Canva Facebook cover photo from scratch, we're going to use this Safe Zone template that we got from Snappa. And what this is it shows you what is visible on mobile and what is visible on desktop. Unfortunately, for some reason, Facebook has two different ways that it displays the same exact cover photo. Fingers crossed for the day when they actually give you the option to upload two different images for the two different ways that it's displayed. But at this time, you can only upload one cover photo, but it's going to display differently depending on the device that people are using. So as you can see here, we have this white safe zone in the middle. If somebody is on desktop, they are going to see what is between these purple lines on over to the edges. So they're going to see the full width of your photo all the way down to where the purple lines are. So desktop, the image is very long. And it gets cut off on the very top and the very bottom. Now on mobile, the top and the bottom are visible, but these blue edges here are cut off. So that means that the only thing that you can guarantee is going to be seen within this safe zone here, or is within this safe zone here. Those are the only things that we know for sure are going to be seen by everybody. Now, when we are designing a cover photo, we want to make sure that the most important things stay within the safe zone. So you don't want words being cut off on the top. You don't want pictures, important parts of pictures being cut off on the sides. So that's why we use this safe zone picture. I'm going to show you how to use it to make sure that even if you're using the templates and you make some adjustments to the templates, that you understand what is what is visible and what is not. Also, so that you can see, even on these templates, there are some things that get cut off, and it's done intentionally, but you need to understand what is being cut off so that you are not caught by surprise. So I'm going to copy this so I have it sitting there in my clipboard while I go through the rest of the templates. Now, the last thing to take note, and I don't have it here on this safe zone thing, but recently, excuse me, on mobile, it used to be that the profile picture would show over here in the corner. Now it's showing kind of like right smack dab in the middle, and it's covering the very bottom part of this template or of the cover photo. So you'll notice in my templates that I keep the words up high and the images down low so that the words aren't getting cut off in a strange way, and whatever we're trying to communicate to people does not get cut off. So as you edit these templates, just know that the words are on top for a reason, because the profile picture on mobile will cut them off if we have them down low. Okay, so let's go through. I have two basic templates here. One is a 5-photo template and the other is a 3-photo template. Excuse me. And you'll see that I have, in some cases, the same business in both templates. These are example businesses. So I do the same business in different templates so you can see the difference and how it looks. Now let's move on to the very first template here. These are our 5-image templates. And you can see these are very crisp and clean. We have the opportunity to feature 5 different images from your business, which I love. Now, when you're using this template, you can change the font of any one of these. So if you're like, hey, I like that one, but I don't like the font, you can absolutely change it. Just make sure the font is readable and that it's not too fancy. You can also switch, here we have the lower, the smaller text what I would call the sub headline on the top and the main headline on the bottom. You can have it either way. That's all dependent on what you like and what your aesthetic is there. Now, as far as picking images, a picture of you, of your team, should be what goes in the middle. We really want to make sure that we are connecting with people personally and not just, showing, if you're a handyman, not just showing a wall that you redid. Let them get to know you. Let them get to meet you. Oops, I forgot to delete that little bit there. Let them get to meet you and know you a little bit. So you front and center here in the middle, and then pictures of jobs you've done, of happy customers, of your staff in action, of the product you actually produce, which works well here for a food type business, actually showing the foods that you make. Now, obviously, I just use stock images. I went to Canva and I told it to give me stock images. Don't you use stock images. Use real pictures from you and your team and real products that you have so that people can see that you are a real business. While this may look like really pretty and polished, this looks completely fake. We want to make sure that they're good pictures, but that they are real pictures and not too overly jazzed up and made to look like, you don't want them to look like their stock photos, right? So that's the first example. Next, we have medical insurance broker serving seniors in Southwest Florida. This one, I actually did one like this for a client, and we did use stock images because he didn't have pictures of older people being active. But this is a stock photo in the middle. I didn't use the picture of my client, but you can see, this is the guy right here. And we even include the broker's name here, but I wanted to delete that, but you can put that. So it could be, Michael Scott serving seniors in Southwest Florida. So what we're doing with this top line is really telling people what it is you do. Now, ideally, the name of your page is going to communicate what it is you do, but sometimes there's additional information that it's difficult to say in the page name. It's going to make it too long. So in this case, we said medical insurance broker. So we know exactly what this Facebook page, what this company does. And we know exactly who they serve. So you may be able to get Southwest Florida on your page name, but it's not enough room for you to say that you're serving seniors in Southwest Florida or serving those that are 65 plus on Medicare in Southwest Florida. So this gives you the opportunity to give a little bit more information. So here we have healthy food that's delicious too. Notice I don't have the name of the restaurant because the name is on the page already. Now you could add a little bit of a logo here on the bottom. And some people will insist on putting their name up there. But I want to take this space really to give additional information that the person didn't already know, right? So I've already seen your page name. I've clicked on your page. I see your page name. It's right below this cover photo. It's right there. So use this space to sell them on you a little bit. What do you do? What do you serve? What's unique about you? What's different about your products? What's different about your service? Who do you serve? What are some other advantages to doing business with you? So here we have downtown Fort Myers by the water. So just by glancing this, I know that this is a restaurant. Again, because I clicked on it and it said restaurant. So we're seeing this out of context right now. When it's on your page, it's in context. So I already know that it's a restaurant. And I know they serve healthy food. I know the food is not only healthy, but it's also delicious. I know roundabout where they're located. I can get the exact address when I scroll down. And it's by the water. So now I'm imagining myself eating this food by the water. And then I'm seeing pictures of the food and saying, oh yeah, that looks really good. So this gets to be a big old advertisement. Now you'll notice that we don't have a phone number here. The one exception to that is like if you're a pizza joint that depends on people calling, you might want to put a phone number up top just so it's quick and easy for them to be able to call you. But the phone number is on the page. They can scroll down a little bit to get the phone number. The website is on the page. The address is on the page. Here we're saying downtown Fort Myers, so I have a sense of where you are. But if you give an actual address here, I may not know where that is. But if you say downtown Fort Myers, I'm like, oh, I have a sense of where downtown Fort Myers is. Then it's just an additional detail of what exactly the address is. So if I want to go to downtown Fort Myers for a meal, I'm going to remember that this place is downtown. So we're helping to anchor all of these important points about your business in their head. Medical insurance broker serving seniors in Southwest Florida. My mom is having issues with her, Medicare, whatever it is. And you see this, you know what they do, right? Well, my mom's in Ohio, not Southwest Florida. Then it's not going to apply to me. And I know that instantly. So it's okay to call out specifically who you serve. Don't be afraid of turning people away, because there are a lot of people that you cannot serve best. But if you can clearly communicate who you do serve best, then you're going to attract those people to you all that much more. All right, we're going to scroll down here. Trained and certified detailers in Cleveland, Ohio, classic and sports car restoration. That was a lot to put on a page name, so we added it to the cover photo. Again, we have the 5 pictures. I would really, because I use stock photos, that was like the best person face I could find of somebody washing a car. We have action photos of the car being washed. We also have like, ooh, wow pictures of like, look how cool that car looks. I don't love these 2 extra pictures I did on the side. I would rather see the car with a technician next to it with this thumbs up after he cleaned it, or in the shop where people take that, if you have an in-person shop, in this case, a picture of the car in the shop. But I was dealing with, stock photos. So did the best I could here on this one. But you can see here some action photos. We're showing that the cars are getting washed. What do they specialize in? Classic and sports car restoration. So if you have a classic or sports car, you're going to know that's for them. They're trained and they're certified detailers, and they're in Cleveland, Ohio. So if you live in Cleveland, Ohio, you know that it's for you. Even if you have it in the page name, I don't think it hurts to have it here. Or you could say the entire Cuyahoga County area, right? So again, it's giving a little bit more information in the cover photo. You'll also notice on this cover photo and on this one, I put a little bit of an image, or I did put an image in the background that gives a little bit of texture to the cover photo. Be very, very, very careful with this. In fact, I would just use the ones that I have here, or use none at all. This one, we didn't use one at all. This one, you can see there's a little bit of a background. People like to get cute here and put high color, flashy, crazy stuff or different colors, and it detracts from the pictures. We want to add a little bit of texture without adding any distraction. So if you really want to go shopping around for a texture on the back of your image, you can simply search Canva for white background. We're going to look at, you can look at photos or graphics, either one. And you see they're very, very light. So we're going to drop one in there, and you can barely see it. I think I have the transparency down. I'll bring the transparency up. Yeah, that one's not showing much at all. Let's see. Here we go. So you can see that this adds some texture, but even this I think is too dark. It's pulling the eye too much. So you can drop one in like that and come up to this transparency button and lower the transparency to where it's barely visible, but it's just enough that mentally it breaks up the background. You can drop another one here. Here you can see it's a little bit darker on the top, a little bit lighter on, or a little bit darker on the bottom, a little bit lighter on the top. If we darken that up, you can see it starts to get dark up here. So let's lighten a little bit, and something like that can work. Now let me show you what happens when you get funny with it. Yeah, the blue's not too bad. Let's do color background. If you are going to do something like this, keep it on the lower half. Don't put it behind the text. So let's say, oh, we want to be bright and catch people's eye, right? I hear that all the time. We're going to use bright colors to catch people's eye. So this is non-saturated. Look what happens. The food starts to lose its glory. The background starts to take over, and the text is not high contrast against the background. So it's fighting with the colors as well. Add something like that. People say, oh, but it catches attention. That's a video, and you can do that. You can upload it like that. But yeah, it's catching attention, but are we supposed to be doing that? Like, that's not where I want the attention. I want the stars to be here. I want this text to be easily read. I don't want to fight against it. Even like this dark, it won't drop in. Sometimes these don't drop in. I was going to just try to, for some reason, these don't want to drop in. So Canva can grab your picture. Let's go back. There we go. Sometimes it just doesn't want to grab it. But even like this dark green, you can see it's taking away from the food. Now the colors in the food are fighting with the color of the green. It's too much. So if you're going to do something like that, if you're going to add a background, I mean, the pink I think is terrible, absolutely terrible, then stay with something that is white or a really, really light gray, something that is not going to detract from what you have on there. Even something like this, look at all that texture is now fighting with the words. But if we lower the transparency, you can have like, you get a sense that there's something there without actually being distracted. So here you can see I use kind of like a concrete background, I think I did on this one. And this one has just a little bit of shading on either side. Be very, very careful about how you use these backgrounds. So there's classic sports card. This one I did hydroponic tomato farm. Now the last thing I want to show you with these is we're going to drop, this safe zone. So I right clicked, and you're going to have this on the template. So you right click this, copy it, and then you go to the one that you're working on. You know, you're like, okay, I'm going to use this one as a template. You're going to right click and paste, right? So I already did that. And then we're going to come back up to this transparency, and we're going to lower the transparency. So you can see the text is in safe area. The first 3 pictures are in the safe area for mobile, but when we go to desktop, we have the edge pictures are visible as well. What that means is we're not going to have this funny, just like drop off the cliff look when somebody is looking at it on desktop and there's nothing on the sides. So we just have 2 pictures that are bonus pictures that are visible when it's on desktop, and they're cut off just enough here that people on mobile can tell there's something there without needing to see it, because they have these main 3 pictures here. So make sure your 3 most important, the picture of you is in the middle, the 2 on the sides are wow pictures, and the ones on the edge can just be complementary pictures. Okay, so any kind of changes you make to the font, to the size, dropping pictures in, try not to move this box here. In fact, I'm going to hit the back button to make sure I didn't move it too much. Don't move that, so that these 3 pictures stay within safe, and these 2 will show up on desktop. Okay, so now I'm going to look at the next pictures that we have here. So this is a 3 picture option. We are going to put, again, a picture of you in the middle. In this case, I'm doing one for a realtor. So a picture, and again, stock photos, all stock photos. So here's just a stock photo of a realtor with the for sale sign. That just screams realtor out the get-go. And then on the left and the right here, we have pictures of homes that this realtor would have for sale. I like this too because we're talking about Bonita Springs, and these are very tropical looking houses. I would only post the kinds of houses that match the dreams of the ideal client that you're trying to attract. Now, the thing to keep in mind with the pictures that you drop here, these are going to be, the reason why I did this other option is these are going to be longer pictures than what we're doing up here. These are very square. These are longer, but you don't want to go with too much of the important part of the house going far over to the edge. And you'll see that we kind of did that with this one here. So we're going to drop the safe zone on there, and we're going to lower it. Now you can see there's a little bit of cutoff here. And, you know, you can nudge it up, but I would just leave it. It's okay to cut off just a little bit right there. And you can see this house is getting cut off and this house is getting cut off. But we have a palm tree there. We have the front door. This one, I would probably prefer to have more of the house in. We could even flip this picture just to show you what that looks like. So now, when we look at it, more of the house is in the picture itself. So now, again, you can see all the important stuff is there, but we go a little bit wider. So again, when we're on desktop, it doesn't feel like, you know, there's just an empty blank space there. There are actual pictures that go pretty far over. Now you'll notice with these that we do have the 2 color option. In fact, I don't know where that one came from. We're going to pull that out of there. So we have, it's half white, half color. This works pretty well for this template. It doesn't always work great with this one. So I skipped it on this one because you see these white openings between. If we did that, just to show you what it looks like. That's not going to work. I don't have the, oh, we're going to have to do this. So if we did that here, and I'm just putting a box there, we're going to put a color in that box, and we're going to position it backwards. You know, something like that can work, but you see that green pops up in between the images. And for me, it makes it difficult for the eye to follow it. It looks weird and it's a little bit difficult on the eyes. You could just drop it right down here. And at that point, it barely matters. It's going to get cut off a lot of the time. And I just don't see where it adds anything, but you could play around with that if you want. On these, it works pretty well because it kind of allows, we're doing the stair step thing and it's stair stepping back down again. So I'll show you some other examples. This is the restaurant example again. When you're doing this, you can match up your background. So in this case, we'll do this with the restaurant one. You can see how the green has a little bit more of a bright, fun, tropical feel. This tan is a little bit more sophisticated, but if I click the tan and I go up here, it will actually show me colors that are in these photos already, and you can pick backgrounds that best match. But I want to warn you, again, if you go with really bright, bold colors, it can start to detract from the items itself. Now that green, I think, really made the green in these 2 pictures pop. This is probably just too dark and too stark. The green's not bad. This green's not bad here. You can do just a light gray that makes the photos pop even more. Just look at the difference of that. Like, it's just a whole different effect. And you can decide based on how you want your messaging to look, whether or not that works for you. The yellow, I'm not a big fan of the yellow. So you can just play around with these. You just click on the color area, click this box up here, and it will show you the colors that are in the photo. We're going to turn this back to something light. This one, we did the opposite. We put the dark color up top and the lighter color down below. Again, we can change this out. And I could say, just different shades of gray. The green, so a light green against white makes it difficult for this to read. So I don't recommend that. So something a little bit darker. I kind of like that gray there. That's probably a little too light. Just not a great color. That's a pretty good color there. So neutrals usually work best. I say usually, not always. This orange is a bit much. Oh, I want to attract attention. Again, don't use color to attract attention. Use color to frame and highlight what it is you're trying to sell. Is that the gray I liked? I don't know. I liked one of these grays. This one's fine. And then same thing down here. Now this green against all the greenery here, not a fan. So we're going to click the button. In fact, I'm going to bring the white up a bit. Click the button. We can do like a nice kind of greenish, grayish color there. Notice how the dark red is kind of overwhelming. And then here you can't see the text at all. We can change this color text. You know, if you decide like, hey, I want the color on the bottom and the white up top, all you have to do is move the white box. But I don't like that because the text, oops, I don't want to color the box. I want the box to be white. And, you know, dark green, a little overwhelming. I would tend to want to stay away from green in general. You know, gray works well, like, but you can see how black is a little too stark. It's a little bit too much, but a nice gray right there. Maybe this lighter gray. I think I like this lighter gray. You can also add effects to your text here by clicking the effects button up here. And I think this one would do really well to have a lift behind it. And we'll add lift to this one too. It makes the text pop a little bit more against kind of a light dark background. When you put a dark background behind it, you don't hardly see it. If you put a light background, it does help it pop more, but it still washes out the color. So we're going to stay with a gray. So that's it. Those are the templates. Again, you can totally create something from scratch, but these are the ones I recommend because they're easy to just drop in your photos, change the text to talk more about what you are and what's unique about you. If you're in my $7 program, you can always post in the group about, you know, ideas, you know, what should you have as a cover, as a headline and a subheadline, and we can help you figure that out. So in the meantime, happy designing.